What's up, everybody? This is Gold, Girls, and Glory, Bam Bam Malone, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey, this is the top guy, Griffin McCoy, representing Young, Dumb, and Broke and Punk Star Posse, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hi, this is Shawna Reed, daughter of 1,000 Maniacs, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code WrestlingWithE for 10% off your next purchase. I am, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts, who is running late as always, but somebody that's on time this week, Scooter Dust.
You know, my wife and I were happy for 20 years, and then we met.
And it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with... She is the daughter of 1,000 Maniacs, Shawna Reed.
Hey, what's up?
How are you, Shawna?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Well, good.
Good.
Could you tell us what you got coming up next?
Well, actually, currently at the moment, I am out on just a little bit of an injury, but only for about 2 more weeks. And then I've got shows all around the United States. I'm in Hamilton, Ohio every Friday for FGW. And then pretty much like I honestly check where I am on that Monday and figure out where I am that weekend. So I'm coming a lot around the U.S. So just and maybe even a TV appearance coming up in the next few weeks. So just keep an eye out.
I do know that there is a big wrestling company coming to Cincinnati soon, so you know. And where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
So you can find me on social media on Facebook. It's just Shawna Reed. I have a like page and a personal page. I think I might be up to my friend limit on my personal, so give that like page a like. Twitter, Shawna Reed 93. Instagram, Shawna_Reed. I don't do any merch sale. Like I don't have a merch sale online unless you contact me. So if you want shirts, 8x10s, 5x7s, bracelets, anything like that, you just got to direct message me. I will hook you up and we'll go from there.
All right, and you don't even have to go looking for those. Looking for it. All those links will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. You brought up that you've been injured for a little while. Was that during the ladder match?
No, it wasn't. I actually, unfortunately, got knocked out in a match 2 weeks ago, and got life squatted to the hospital because I was out for 2 minutes, and they concussion, but I went to a concussion specialist like Friday, and I got cleared, so I'm taking 2 more weeks off still. I'm getting back in slowly because they said that I need to get back in slowly with how bad the swelling and everything was. So I'm giving it 2 more weeks and then I'm back rolling.
All right. Now you work for, as you said, FGW. Can you tell us about your relationship with the company?
Yeah, so I have been with the company even before it started. So we my fiance and I were looking for a company, and one of the guys at an old promotion, he owns a comic book store. His name's Brian. He always wanted to open a wrestling company, and so Cody Hawk is a world-renowned trainer, amazing trainer, and we ended up finding this place, and that used to be actually an office space. So we started from the ground up and tore out, all these like cubicles and everything, and turned it into what is now known today as FGW. It's every Friday is a live show in Hamilton, Ohio. And every Wednesday at 7:00, we have a YouTube show called Shockwave that you can all check out. So it's a really cool little company. It's very old school wrestling, old school storylines, the bad guy versus the good guy. And it's a great family place, family friendly. So it's fun.
That's really great because, independent companies aren't usually family friendly,
Yeah. I've worked for a bunch that, like there's cussing, there's everything. And don't get me wrong, like if like something happens and something hurts, like,
Oh, yeah.
a cuss word will slip out here and there. I'm guilty of it. I'm probably the worst one. I have probably the worst like potty mouth on the freaking show because I get too into my like promos and crap and I'm crazy. So
This next match, rated R, full language.
exactly. Every Shawna Reed promo or match, just so you know, probably cover your children's ears because something will pop out.
Scooter, you have a question.
All right. Now I'm going a little off the cuff here with something that I actually didn't have prepared. Now, being in the Ohio area, there's one name that comes to mind, and that's Les Thatcher. Did you ever do any work for Heartland, HWA, when Cody was with them, or did you not get the chance?
So HWA is it's closed now. It's over.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Because Cody was the last one that actually owned it. So when I got into the business, HWA unfortunately was closed. So I have unfortunately never gotten the honor to do that. I've wrestled on a few HWA reunion shows, so that's been pretty cool. And I've been also lucky enough to have DVDs of old HWA to be able to watch and kind of like steal and study from. So
I asked because I had a friend of mine go out there and actually work for Les in the HWA. So that's always curious with me. But serious question.
mm-hmm.
Now, when you first started out, at least according to Cage Matches database, one of your first matches was against Japanese legend Malia Hosaka. Now, maybe it wasn't so early in your career, maybe you had experience before then. We're going to learn the whole story, but what was your mindset considering you were not green, but it's so early in your career, going up against someone with such a storied career in such a different style of wrestling, and what did you learn going forward?
So if I remember correctly, I feel like I wrestled her within my first year of wrestling. I knew of the name. I didn't really know her much, but when I got booked against her, I like people, I did my research and I was told about her and stuff like that. So I was really super excited, but terrified. So nervous because you always want to make a good impression. Like even if you're super, super green, you want to make this good impression on the vets, especially one with like a history of like her. And when I went back there and I met her, she was such a nice person. But then like that was pretty much it. We said hi, but and like that was it. And I got dressed and I was, I went to her again and kind of just chilled by her until thinking that, okay, we'll talk. And it didn't happen. And so I was kind of panicking, like, oh my God, this lady already doesn't like me. Like I must have like, did I do a handshake wrong? Did I like do some, like say something wrong when I said hi? I don't know. So I was panicking, and then, but I got super lucky because the way I was trained was to call stuff on the fly in the ring. So I'm super lucky with that. Because when we went out there, we had nothing planned, and we just went. And it was great. And when we came back, like, she like was super happy with the match, and it was like I was on cloud 9 because I was freaking terrified. But I'm actually pretty excited because now that I'll be 6 years in 2 weeks, and actually in 2 weeks I have my first rematch with her in 5 years.
Wow.
Nice.
So yeah, like that's kind of, now that I've really thought about that, that's kind of crazy.
Kind of coming full circle there.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
Now let's kind of talk about last year. The pandemic era of wrestling, as we're calling it. What was it like for you personally to wrestle in the pandemic era, in front of no crowd? And how does it feel kind of coming back to that?
I mean, it sucked, to the point. But I had done a lot of like just random shoots and stuff like that. So I was kind of used to wrestling like just for a camera. And then on, Facebook Lives. But here in Ohio, our friggin' governor was so strict for the longest time that we were allowed to like have wrestling practice. Like, so me and all the guys could go and practice for 2 hours in a ring, but we couldn't have a show, like a show with no crowd. So as long as it was practice, we were allowed to do it. But if we put a camera on and Facebook Live did or something, it was illegal, which was stupid.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it was so dumb. So we never got to do that like with FGW and stuff like that. So I ended up, traveling to Illinois to do this. I traveled to other places to be able to like do like Facebook Live shows. But there was pretty much no wrestling anywhere around the area or anything in the whole pandemic, which was like horrible. But it was also, a forced year off. Like, we as wrestlers take so much abuse on our bodies that we don't realize really how much our bodies are tired, and like the break is needed, because we are all just like, we want to go, go, go. And some of us, like, that is our only income choice, So like there's that. But when I first got to perform in front of a crowd again, it was in Alabama. And it was like it was the first weekend that like at all live crowds were allowed back. Anyway. And it was like, I just wanted to cry because, you miss this. You miss being somebody that you're not in everyday life. And I'm so happy that now, shows are going on and continuing. And it's like the whole wrestling community has come together and made things stronger. Wrestling didn't die, and it won't. But I mean, with all this mask crap and this Delta crap, who knows? I'm terrified it'll backtrack.
I'm assuming you already have bad relationships with Delta, the elk. The elk.
No, Delta is actually the best airline that I've flown.
I actually flew Delta to Alabama, so.
Scooter, you have a question.
Yes. All right. There's an interesting little tidbit from your match history. Some might call it a blooper. And I do have a follow-up question as it pertains to this particular match.
Oh, God.
There was a match for BCW against Sky Blue.
Okay.
Do you remember the announcer? The ring announcer?
Yes.
Do you remember what he called you?
I don't remember what he called me, but I remember it was wrong because because I know him and he's my friend. And when I went out there, I'm like, you really called me something wrong. I went off on him. heel.
Yeah. Shawna Reed.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't, his name's Joseph. And I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Well, I mean, yeah, I've seen some cringe moments, during my time on the indie scene, but I'm like, oh, that poor girl.
Well,
Nothing.
out.
Yeah, it's all in good fun, but still, and only because I started as a ring announcer, I'm like, ooh, that stinks just a little bit. But that same match, before the match even gets going, you and Sky have this verbal exchange, which is very rarely seen in mainstream pro wrestling. And so, well, how am I supposed to say this? It's barely seen in mainstream professional wrestling as much as independent pro wrestling. You guys essentially really told a story for the fans in attendance, anybody that watches that match, before you even, before the first headlock. So if you remember that match, was that all basically improv, so to speak? And how important to you are the actions in the ring that aren't wrestling moves to tell the story of the match?
Yeah, it was all like we just went out there and it was all improv. Like, we went out there, just started like yakking at each other, and it worked because because all that is super important, like to establish me as a heel and to make her seem even more babyface than she already is. So me just going out there and like upping pretty much my bitch level, like taking every little piece of her and like just being this horrible person, and her coming back at me, which got the crowd into it. It's already, the crowd's like, oh my gosh, they want to see me get beat up because I'm just being this horrible person, and they want to see Sky, go over. They want to see like her just beat the crap out of me. So we're already getting the fans invested in it. We're already getting the fans like, oh my gosh, did you hear what Shawna said to Sky? Oh, Sky's better not let, her do that or whatever. So it's already getting the fans invested. It's going to make more of a reaction when Sky gives me a move. And then it's going to make more of a reaction when I give Sky a move, because people are going to boo like crazy because they don't want to see me hurt her. They want to see her hurt me. So it's all part of storytelling, and that's one of the most important parts in wrestling. And a lot of the times it's what's most forgotten, that you're telling a story. And so, yeah, I mean, it's super important.
All right.
Now, can you tell us about the round table?
The round table.
Yes, it was all the, I want to say, personalities of Shawna Reed at a round table.
Oh, I remember now. What are you talking about? Yeah, so I'm doing this whole thing that, so me as the daughter of 1,000 Maniacs, I talk to voices in my head that nobody else can see or hear. So I was like, oh, well, I think I'm going to attempt to see if I can bring out some of these personalities and make a video of it, of me pretty much arguing with myself. And so been able to bring out a few. There's obviously way more that I could make up and do, but yeah, it was a fun little promo to do, where I had like about, I think, 4 or 5 different personalities come out, and you kind of got a little glimpse of what's inside my head.
Did he that Carol Baskin TikTok come out of that?
No, but it should.
I was curious, was one of them based off, or one of the personalities based off Clarice Starling?
No.
I just say because the accent you had.
Oh,
You,
no, yeah. The
you,
British.
James, you mean Hannibal Lecter. You don't mean Clarice Starling. Clarice Starling was the agent that hunted Hannibal Lecter.
No, but the accent.
Yeah,
It's a very
Clarice
distinct
Starling.
accent.
Well, that's right. Yeah, hers is very. Well, Jodie Foster played it as someone who's very southern. So,
But
okay,
Yeah.
that's.
No, I just did weird accents because to do weird accents.
and at the end of that, you kind of revealed maybe a new side of yourself that maybe we haven't seen, but we'll see in the future.
So yeah, my last one that I did reveal, her name is Tavia, and she actually did debut on FGW about 3 weeks ago for a split like for a few minutes. It hasn't come out on Shockwave yet, but we have the video, so I'm hoping that it airs soon because she came out and it was pretty awesome.
Are you a M. Night Shyamalan fan by chance?
Am I what?
An M. Night Shyamalan fan? Have you seen the movie Split?
Oh yeah. That's where I get inspiration.
Okay. Well, let's stay on the theme of movies. And, of course, The Daughter of 1,000 Maniacs. That is obviously a reference to the son of 100 maniacs. The dream
Freddy?
lord himself, Freddy Krueger. How much of a Nightmare on Elm Street fan are you, and how much of a horror fan are you?
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Such a huge fan of all horror movies and all that. So yes, that is exactly where that came from. I had to one up Freddy Krueger.
What is your favorite out of the entire franchise? Then favorite Nightmare film?
I honestly like the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like the first ones are always the best to me in a lot of the things. So
See, a lot of people I know, they put Dream Warriors first, and then they put the first one second. But they all agree that the worst is that remake with Jackie Earle Haley. And while I don't like to hate on movies, I kind of have to agree. But
yeah, it definitely wasn't the best one. So let's just go there.
Now, you have anything else, Scooter?
oh no, I was passing it to you.
Okay. Now you have worked for AEW as well. Can you tell us about how that came about and what was your experience like?
Yeah, so I was training with Dustin Rhodes in his very first class, January through March in around Austin, Texas. And Dustin was really, I guess, impressed with me, and he contacted them, and I was pretty much booked as soon as I graduated his little class. And when I went there, I've worked for WWE, like I've worked for WWE 20 times, and I worked for AEW those 2 times, and it's such a night and day difference. It was really, really cool because some of the people back there, like I've wrestled like in, the past. So.
Right.
I
yeah.
So like I haven't seen them in a while, or like, they wrestled me at the very beginning of my career kind of thing. And like, here I am now, so it was just really cool to be like back, like, there, and then to put me up against, in my opinion, their 2 top girls that they have there, like, meant a lot. So it was a really cool experience, and it was just so laid back and awesome, and just fun.
I was gonna say, I mean, they kind of they put you up against, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, maybe at their hottest point. They just came off of the Lights Out match.
Yeah.
So, how did that feel to, be trusted with, literally the top two superstars at that time?
It was nerve-wracking because I knew that, and like, I mean, just to be trusted with the girls that, I feel like they were pushing the most was a big deal to me. I had worked on a show with Britt at the beginning of her career as well. But like I'm a huge Thunder Rosa fan. And so when they told me that I had Thunder Rosa the second day, I was like, what? Like, I was just such a big fan, and to be able to wrestle her, especially on AEW, meant so much to me. So it was a huge, huge deal in my mind.
Oh, Scooter, you have a question.
Now, looking at your Instagram, there is a very touching poem in regards to a wrestling legend who we lost not so long ago, and I'm of course referring to beautiful Bobby Eaton. Uh, what what was that poem essentially in reference to your relationship with him, and what pearls of wisdom did Bobby Eaton teach you?
Well, like I got like the honor to be on a few shows with Bobby Eaton. But the shows that I was on, like I was always a heel and he was, obviously a baby face. And so the show that I was on was super old school. So heels were in one locker room, baby faces were in the other, and you didn't see each other until you were across from each other in the ring. So I got to manage a few of his matches that he had against Cody Hawk. And to me it was like, oh my gosh, like it was almost like a childhood like little like dream to me a little bit. And I would instead of like managing, I'd be watching and just like be in awe, like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And it's like to this day, it like it kicks I just kick myself in the butt because I wish I would have freaking like got a picture with him. But when you're training, when all this stuff, you're taught, don't mark out for the guys in the back, don't go ask for an autograph, don't go ask for a pic, like it's embedded in your brain. But here it is where I'm like, I was on all these shows with Bobby Eaton, I had matches where I managed it, and I have no memories of that other than the memories that are in my brain. I have no pictures to show my kids someday. I have none of this, I got to like ask him a few questions once, but like I didn't really get to pick his brain the way I wanted to. So it's kind of it sucks because like we're like, no, I have this to still want to do. I have this to ask him. But you never know when you're going to go. And it was his time. And I selfishly, I'm like kicking myself in the ass over here. But
That really sucks.
Yeah. I could say for sure that one, that's something that needs to change, and AEW even encourages this. The guys watching the talent in the ring, reacting, and because we're talent are fans also. I think it's enough with this, taboo of, oh, if you're in a locker room, be this, uptight robot who doesn't show any emotion and just focus on what you have to do. No, See, that is one paradigm that has to shift.
I think for sure. I mean, we always talk about on the show give these people their flowers now, because you never know down the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like, for instance, I had done so many conventions, and so many conventions, China was there. And I was always like,
Ooh.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I was like, every time, like, you know what, you're gonna finally go up to her and talk to her. But I let my whole nerves get the better of me in this situation. And she was on a convention that I was on, no joke, probably about a month before she died.
Oh, wow.
I was,
Oh, wow.
yeah, 2 tables down from her. And it was the end of the convention. Everybody was packing up. So no fans were in there. It was just all of us, and everybody was packing up. And I had like turned to look at her. I'm like, I'm going to do it this time. And then, but I was helping my friend tear down his little booth area. And then I was like, you know what? I'm on a convention with her again in like 5 weeks. I'll just go then.
Uh,
And
wow.
and like 3 weeks later, she was dead. And I never, that she was like, she gave so much to women's wrestling. She was the first, you know, and
Yeah.
I never got to thank her for that. Like, thank her for her contributions, like doing like, I just like, I had so much I wanted to personally ask her. I had so much that I wanted to tell her as a fan. And I'm sitting here like, oh, 3 weeks. I'm on a show with her in 5 weeks. I've been on so many with her. It's no big deal. I can just wait one more. And 3 weeks later, she's dead. And that sucked. That one hit me probably the one, like, the hardest.
Oh, God, you know, and James has heard me tell this story a number of times, but I trained and started out in the NYWC, you know, where John Silver and Alex Reynolds came from, and we had Chris Canyon with us, and he had worked the previous week with us, yeah, and he was working as Mortis, and James Mitchell was along, which was even an extra treat, and it's been so long now that my mind has obscured, I think, a couple of details, but he was going to, you know, do a seminar for us, free of charge, and I pull into the Sportatorium parking lot at 2 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and I'm ready to learn all these things from him, and I open my phone to the news sites, and I see that Canyon was found dead in his apartment that day. It's terrible, and when we're so close to our heroes and the people we respect, and we think there's always tomorrow. Unfortunately, sometimes tomorrow never comes, and I feel that.
I think
All right.
the moral lesson of this is, if you have the opportunity to tell somebody that you appreciate them, definitely do it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's pick it up, James.
Yeah, let's talk about something fun now.
Yeah.
You're engaged to Cody Hawk.
Still my question.
You've also wrestled Cody. How do you go into a match against a loved one?
Oh no, did I?
I want to hit him harder. Actually, so it depends on if I'm mad at him that day or not. No, it's actually more exciting because I'm like, oh yeah, it's about to go down. Like,
that's not actually the first time we've had that answer to that question.
Really?
Yes.
I'm a violent person.
If he screws up a spot with you, does he sleep on the couch?
Well, he never screws up a spot. It's always me. Like, but no, if he wins, he sleeps on the couch. So
Oh, I love that.
So the night you got engaged, he was sleeping on the couch.
no, I let him sleep in the bed.
And what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of being with somebody in the same profession as yourself?
Advantages, they understand the crazy schedule we do, they get it, and they also like the diet. They'll be on the same like as you, or they'll help work out with you, stuff like that. So they get the whole profession and the crazy schedule, being out of town and away from each other all this time. The bad part is one, being away from each other so much, like I will be in Texas one weekend and he'll be in freaking Kentucky. It like there's that, and so being away from each other sucks. We don't really have a lot of like free time together because I work a real job Monday through Friday till about 5 p.m. Then I go and I box for an hour after, and then we have wrestling training for 2 hours after that every single day, and then shows Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, I mean, we see each other at training, but it's not, it's not the same. It's not, let's hang out and watch a movie, or let's go on a date or something. It's all strictly business, So that does suck. And then there's that whole mental thing. Us as wrestlers, it doesn't just take a physical toll on our bodies. We are so mentally messed up. I am a huge victim of like anxiety and depression. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's probably all because of wrestling. Like it messes us up. And so, to live with two wrestlers, like it's kind of messed up. And then there's, the injury thing. If one of us is injured, if one of us is out, there's that as well. So there's a lot of there's so many good things, but there's so many bad things. And but I've tried to date people who aren't in the business, and they don't get it and they don't understand it. But then the people in the business, they get it and they understand it, but a lot of them aren't very trustworthy. So you're kind of you're gambling.
I got you.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of a not a taboo, but a little bit of an unwritten rule advising if you're in a relationship, don't start out training together, because especially if you're in a promotion where there are much fewer women as opposed to men.
Unfortunately, screwed on that the hard way.
Yes, unfortunately, I did, and one, it almost resulted in me having my neck broken, and yes, unfortunately, it did affect me psychologically.
I did want to, bring up. You said, you've had some, wrestling affects your mental health. And I've noticed on your Twitter, you do tweet out some, inspirational things. How much is that for your own personal mental health, and how much is that for trying to help somebody that is maybe going through the same things you've had?
I would say it's very much 50-50, because a lot of the times when I tweet out or just post anything with inspiration, honestly, it's not for me because it's not helping me. I wish it would, but I'm like, you know what, if I can post a picture and just something inspirational and it does help somebody's day, at least it's helping somebody else. I'm working on me and trying to, get my mental health where it needs to be, and maybe just helping, knowing that if like just maybe some words I posted like helps somebody else, then that's good. Like, but me, I'm a freaking nutcase, and I'm trying to, you know, work on myself while also maybe trying to help others feel good.
All right. Scooter, you have a question.
Now, your day job is in the medical field.
Yeah, I'm a nurse.
Well, first of all, thank you for all your hard work in the pandemic, and on the front line. First of all, let's take this away from wrestling for just a bit. What was your initial reaction as the pandemic started?
Well, at first, like I didn't really believe it, because what kind of, like, when it first started, it was crazy because when it happened, I guess they found that person in California or something in the airport that day. I was actually in the airport that same day. So, yeah, I was like, okay, this is just some stupid thing. But then, like, prior to that, I had noticed we started seeing like a bunch of patients that like were coming in for this really bad cough, and none of us really knew what, like, I was just like, I see like so many patients every single day, and I'm just like, never in like my 6 years these people are coming in for the exact same thing. We're testing them for strep, we're testing them for pneumonia, we're testing them for, like the flu, and it's not anything. And they're like, okay, it's some weird cold thing. And then it just all went crazy, and the world shut down. So it's like, what in the world?
Well, on behalf of my wife and son, who are both fighting COVID right now in Alabama, I thank you, and we all here at Wrestling with Entertainment thank you, and all of the nurses and all of the medical professionals on the front line who are helping to not have got us through, or still getting us through these trifling times.
Aw, thanks.
Now, swinging back to the match that you got engaged in, how much was that a shoot, and how much of that was a walk?
All of it was shoot.
Oh.
So,
yeah,
like,
I had no idea.
So you're just like beating his ass, not knowing that. Because I was watching the match and I was like, "Whoa, she is really going for this."
Yeah, like, well, so what was happening was my angle with my now tag partner Amos was we were, our angle prior was ending that night, and he was turning on me, and so that was going to be the end of the show. So boom, I take a move, and lights out, show's over, right? And that's what I was told. So I was going to change into just my regular clothes after I was done with a match from, like, because we were doing 2 shows at the time for because the whole COVID thing. And so I was like going to change, and then the guy that was booking at the time said, I need you to stay in your gear and your in your wrestling boots. And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, after, he does this move to you. He's like, I don't want it to lay you out. I just want it to look like, it stunned you, and like you would get up and fight him. I'm like, okay, whatever. So it happens. I take the move, boom, lights go out. And I'm like, cool. I'm thinking that I hear the commentary, and FGW and Shockwave. And then all of a sudden this music starts, and I'm like, what? I didn't even recognize the music. And I totally forgot Cody was using a new form of the music that he uses, because he's been off shows for a little bit. And I was like, what the heck? And then he comes out, I'm like, what are you doing? And he cuts a promo challenging me to a match, and I'm just like, what? I don't even have knee pads on. I have nothing. This outfit that I'm wearing, I legit wore just for managing because I just wanted something new to wear on the first show back to FGW after all this COVID crap. So I wasn't planning on wrestling in it because it's super small. And so I'm just sitting there like, oh no, what is going on? And then that happened, and I'm like, all right, you jerk. And so yeah, it was all completely real. I didn't know anything.
Okay, so this is just the heel in me. I was
Yeah.
like, when he had the ring, I was like, okay, now kick him and pin him.
That's what I was thinking.
Kick him and pin him. Now, say yes, pry in the back.
I will give you this. There was, as soon as I had the ring on my finger, he did say, I'm going to schoolboy you for the pin, 1, 2, 3. He said that right there. So I did know that.
Okay.
But everything leading up to that, I didn't know.
I mean, you did have a nice, size, foreign object on your hand. You could have,
Exactly. It was weighing me down.
Yeah, you could have just, decked him and be like,
you wish, jerk.
Oh, man.
A new version of distracting somebody. Marriage proposal into a schoolboy.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Doug, if you're listening, that's not an invitation.
Yeah, no. Scooter, you have a question.
Yes. Do you have more fun as a blonde or a brunette?
Brunette. Brunette. I, at one point, wanted to be blonde, and I was like, what is wrong with my life? I feel more myself as a brunette, so I'm having way more fun.
So blondes don't always have more fun?
Blondes don't always have more fun when they have to keep scorching out money to keep your hair blonde.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm naturally brunette, so every 3 weeks going and dropping over $100 to keep it blonde was not fun.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought I had some bad habits. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you've changed a few times over the last 6 years. Is it just finding something new, evolving, keeping up with the times? How would you describe your evolution into what you are right now?
I would describe it as evolving. Like, at the very beginning, I had my nicknames, but I never really was who I wanted to be because I never got it. But I knew I'd always wanted to kind of be like this AJ Lee psychotic character kind of thing. And that was my goal. And so I had another name and I switched with that. And then I went to Dustin's school in Texas, and Dustin is the one who came up with the one that talks to herself. And I, came back home to Ohio. It's still working, and I'm absolutely loving where we're going with this. So I think that I might have found my niche.
And I've noticed you have two different, I don't want to say versions of the Daughter of a Thousand Maniacs. You have the full-on schoolgirl, and then you have a version that's actual ring gear.
Yeah, so Dustin and his wife wanted me to do the actual schoolgirl outfit. But personally, I was not comfortable with the full schoolgirl outfit. I did it while I was in Texas, so I was like, okay, I'll make them happy. It'll be fine. But then as soon as I got home, I ordered gear that I felt like I would be comfortable in, and actually looked like wrestling ring gear for women. Tried to keep the whole little schoolgirl alive with the plaid and then the skirt. But other than that, I wanted to be this character they come up with, but I wanted her to look the way I wanted her to look.
Right, kind of tweaking it.
Yeah, so giving it my own my own little edge.
And you wrestled in like slippers, like normal like schoolgirl slippers as well.
Yeah, I used to do those because that's another idea that they came up with, and like I said, those shoes, like there were some times when I was taking moves from people, the shoes would fly off, and I would have to do the rest of the match freaking barefoot. And I'm like, okay, we're going back to wrestling shoes.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
And you wrestled, well, you kind of sort of wrestled Lanny Poffo.
Yep.
Can you tell us about that experience?
Oh, I met Lanny a few years ago in Illinois, just backstage, and then I got him in touch with the promoter Brian at FGW, and we've had him at the show twice. And then I ended up being in the same match with him. We've talked a few times. He's really cool, and obviously Scotty Amos, my tag partner, was the one who did everything with him. But I mean, it is really cool, like to see like someone like that even still be able to freaking do a moonsault. You know, like it's freaking I can't even do a moonsault.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I do know Lenny as well. He's a great guy, and he never forgets my birthday.
really?
Never forgets my birthday, which oddly enough also happens to be tomorrow. Which and it's also Jeff Hardy's birthday as well. But one of the first things I see is a birthday greeting from him, and it's always made me smile. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, he's not here, but it's now time for Kaliko's Colossal Question. You've been in the wrestling business for a little while now. Some might say it's movie worthy. Jennifer Aniston will play you. I don't know. But every movie has a soundtrack to it. What would be the first three songs on the Shawna Reed wrestling soundtrack?
Oh God.
or in the Life soundtrack.
Life, yeah.
Live something. We'll do "Numb" by Linkin Park.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Let's see. This song called "Warrior." It's by Beth Crowley.
Oh, okay.
And let's see. Probably. Gosh. Maybe "Outside Looking In" by Jordan Pruitt.
Ooh, wow.
Interesting. Now
Yeah,
you have three songs. Are you locking them in?
Oh God. What's the banker's freaking the amount of money? Sure, let's lock them in. Why not?
All right, you are locked in. Now, the most controversial thing you will ever talk about on a wrestling podcast.
At least for 5 minutes.
Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
I only eat bacon on pizza, so
Ooh, okay.
my stance.
That a girl.
All right. What's your spirit?
You know, I've been asked that on actually a few other podcasts. So that must be a freaking hot topic.
It is.
Actually, I realize I do have one more question. I completely overlooked this.
All right. Ask it.
Hey, you've come up in a world where you've seen, for the most part, men and women have been equals in the ring, and unfortunately, that term is little bit loose here. But do you think promotions should lean more towards absolving gender lines, or do you think women's wrestling should keep its mystique as a special attraction on the indie scene?
Honestly, like, okay, so yeah, women's matches are special attractions, but personally, I love mixed gender wrestling. And I feel like that's more of an attraction to if you advertise that, because what, like, there's a lot of fans that was gonna want to see this girl beat this dude up, like, or a girl overcome the odds, because obviously the guy is gonna be bigger, usually bigger and stronger, and usually be a dick. So like, I feel like, to me, that's more of an advertisement, a special attraction. That's just my own opinion. Women's wrestling, like, I think there's definitely more as a special attraction. I think there should be more of it on a show. Like on every show there's like 6 men's matches and 1 women's. And so maybe like have like maybe 2 or 3 women's match, like kind of equal it out, you know?
Yeah, even
Have both. Like, that's how I see view on things. Or just have like, at least, you know, if you're gonna have one all women's match, maybe have a mixed gender match as well. Like, that's my view on things. I know some people are super against mixed gender matches because, oh, a guy's never supposed to hit a woman. It's like, it's wrestling. Like, literally, we watched freaking Triple H and Jeffrey the Giraffe from Toys R Us. Like, like, it is wrestling.
And it's funny you bring up Jeffrey the Giraffe, because I was actually, my middle name was named after him.
But you were named after G.R. Hardy. Now, next question. What's your spirit Pokemon?
Oh gosh, it's either it's probably Squirtle.
All right.
And it's probably that because I have a turtle and I named her Squirtle.
I love that.
It's short, concise, and it rhymes.
Yes.
Now, here on the show, we love Tracy Smothers, the late great one. In honor of Tracy Smothers, do you know how to spell Doug?
Doug.
Thug.
Doug. Oh my gosh. I knew Tracy so well. I've not talked about him since he died. Oh, Tracy. Let's bring it up some. But I don't know, THUG. I don't know how he spelled it. I always just listen to the promo.
James?
Look, read the chat.
Oh gosh. Oh, enter my name here. Yeah, T is for terrible, H is for L, U is for ugly, G is for J.
Because thugs can't spell.
Yes. Oh, Tracy.
You got a Tracy Smothers story?
We just, like, so I'm real good friends with Jessie Bell, and like just a few of them, and like I've been on so many shows with Tracy, and he was so funny and so sweet and so genuine, and so Cody's coming home, so about to hear my dogs go crazy. Sorry in advance.
Hi, Cody.
So, but yeah, he's just such a great, awesome dude, and cancer took him, and that sucks, but he will always be remembered. So,
And absolutely, and we're trying to kind of keep, the legacy going here, and kind of give him his flowers, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
With thugonomics.
Yes. And the weirdest thing you'll ever be asked on a wrestling podcast. Would you ever consider wrestling a rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, Scooter.
Not the country.
An actual rock.
I feel like I've wrestled one before.
That's not a nice thing to say about Cody.
Oh, you knew who I was talking about. I mean, yeah, I can put in. I've put over a broomstick before, so I can put over a rock.
Oh, you know what? I think broomstick beats rock. I think that's how it goes, right?
Yeah,
think-
exactly.
I say so.
Rock, broomstick, scissors.
That's it. Rock, paper, scissors, broomstick.
Just for a little context, there was this guy named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual rock for over 15 minutes in what was a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasted for 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Committed to the part.
Yeah.
And now it's time for that segment once again. Shawna Reed's Bizarre Adventure. You're a wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Oh God. I need to think because there's so many crazy freaking road stories. Let's see. So at the very beginning of my career, my first out of state booking ever was in Michigan, and the promoter got all the wrestlers a room, and we our friend Andrew ended up somehow his key was the master key to every room in the whole hotel. And so we're all drunk and going around, and we got a little midget friend. Oh. And yeah, so we're going around and opening up the boys' rooms and having our midget jump on them, and one of them was Shark Boy, unliving all this. So yeah, that's still one of my favorite road stories to this day.
I love the fact that you refer to it as our midget.
Yeah, he's our midget.
And you said it like so casually, like everybody has a midget.
Everybody doesn't have a midget? What?
Mine ran away.
You gotta get that tracking device, brother.
Oh,
Oh.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully signed somewhere. If not, still doing what I'm doing and maybe even helping train and do things like that. So whatever path my journey leads me on.
Right.
Or I would say celebrating the 5-year anniversary of being asked that question. Yeah.
Right, exactly. To the day.
And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Shawna Reed is all about?
I say either there's two. Either the me versus Logan Blackheart, which is a for the Super Zeta Memorial title. I'm calling or go on and watch the very first showcase of the Rhodes Wrestling Academy and watch the main event.
All right. And since we're nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
No actual doom to be incurred.
Okay.
This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready, Shawna?
Yes.
Just spitballing whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Oh God, Shawn Michaels.
Worst wrestler of all time.
Nikki Bella.
Ooh. Surprisingly, I believe that's the second time we've heard that, James.
But Nikki Bella's also been the greatest wrestler of all time as well.
Oh, you know what? I might be thinking that. You know what? That might be the first time we've had the greatest. Ooh. I gotta go back
They have an Almighty Chaos versus Shawna Reed match.
Do what?
Armani Chaos. He's a wrestler that said that Nikki Bella was the greatest wrestler of all time.
Oh yeah, well, I'll have to knock some sense into that person.
Oh, yeah, you gotta get up to Limitless in Maine.
I'll book me. I'll be there.
All right,
You're
remind me
main-
to call.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
It's got to be Russell. Oh well.
Past or present.
Okay. It's for the World Championship.
Any chat. The World
Women's
Heavyweight
World Championship.
of
Oh,
the
women's.
universe, of the galaxy.
Okay, I was gonna say if it's women's, it's gonna be AJ Lee. If it's technically he's not in it anymore, but it'd be if it's not just women's, me versus John Moxley.
Ooh, interesting. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Probably Shawn Michaels.
So you're coming out to Sexy Boy.
Heck yes, I'm coming out to
I mean,
Sexy.
I'm surprised nobody has attempted to do a Sexy Girl remix.
Right, I would make a remix, but yeah.
All right, maybe that's something to come up in the future.
Maybe.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is.
Oh God. Somewhat alive.
All right. Squash, fruit or vegetable?
Oh God. I was gonna say match. Vegetable.
It is indeed a fruit.
Oh,
But
We would have accepted match.
yes.
I said match. Oh, I win.
But you might have got the question wrong, but you're in good graces with Coleco Yachts, a part of Squash Squad now, and that means so much more.
Okay.
New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
What is the appropriate what for ring gear?
Trunks to butt cheek ratio.
Trunks to butt cheek.
Yes.
I mean, I personally say cover the whole thing, but
Cody's in the other room with an expression on his face like, who the hell are you talking to?
And the main event, the last question, the thing everybody wants to know.
The most bizarre question you'll ever be asked since 5 minutes ago.
Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
no.
And that is the correct answer.
Good, I guess.
And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much, Shawna, for coming on and doing this with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And once again, where can we find you on social media?
Facebook, Shawna Reed, or find my like page, Shawna Reed. Twitter, Shawna Reed 93. Instagram, Shawna_.
And if you want any of Shawna Reed merchandise, you want to DM her as well, correct?
Yep, just direct message me. That's the only way you can get it, or find me at shows.
And I mean, you've been listening to her for a little over an hour. Buy a damn shirt.
Yeah, right? I mean, you've already been annoyed with my voice for over an hour, so at least purchase a shirt.
And if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. Join us next week as we interview Kiefer Bartek. The week after that, Miss Hannah, Laura Casey, and Lori. So, stacked September for Wrestling with Entertainment. You can also follow the show on on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling with E. You can follow us individually as well. I am at JamesJ993. Find Kaliko at I am Kaliko. And where can they find Scooter?
Find me in your bedroom waiting to pounce, or find me on Twitter at Scooter Dust. Find me and James hosting the remix as part of the newly revamped UNB Live network, starting with Extreme Rules, the remix, the only alternate live commentary podcast on the web to date, still yet to be unmatched, going almost 6 years and strong. You have a choice in commentary. Hashtag choose your commentary. And of course, you can always find me and Rico Constantino Jr. on the Smoking Dragons Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons. Every story has 20 sides. Come be part of ours.
Now, Shawna, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment, okay?
Okay.
For our always special guest, Shawna Reed, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Bye, Cody.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.